everybody, I'm Emily and today we are going to be making a pot person. So what you are going to need is you're going to need 2 medium-sized pots and 4 small pots. You're going to need some glue, some acrylic paint. I have black, white, red, and blue. You're gonna need some scissors, some popsicle sticks. Depending on the size, you might need more. I have smaller ones. And I've got some paintbrushes and some twine or craft rope. Okay, so the first step is painting your person. So I've got a little piece of paper here to protect underneath because acrylic paint can stain, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of the big pots. This is gonna be the head, okay? So you're gonna take one of your paintbrushes. I'm gonna use my paper as my paint platter. Take a little bit of white paint and you're going to paint the rim white. Just like that. There you go. And just keep painting the rim white. Alrighty, there we go. So we've got the whole rim covered in white. And since I've already got my white paint going, I'm going to keep with this color. So I've got the rim painted. Then we're going to move to the body. So for the body, we also need just the rim painted. So we're gonna take our white and do the exact same thing on the other big pot. Make sure you guys are wearing some clothes that you don't mind if they get a little stained with paint, okay? Because sometimes, like I said, acrylic paint can be hard to get out. So make sure you're wearing some clothes that you're okay to get paint on, okay? Alrighty. Okay, so we've got both of our big pots painted white rims. Now we're going to take 2 of the small pots and we're gonna paint the bodies of them with white. So I'm just gonna take some more white paint. I'm gonna start painting the body of the smaller pots. You're gonna wanna have a bigger paintbrush for the first parts of painting so that you can get a lot of space with your brush. If you have a really small one, it might take a long time. Okay, so you're gonna wanna paint the bottoms. There you go. Just like this. If you get a little bit of white paint on the rim, don't worry because we'll cover it up with the next color. That's why we're gonna do white first. All right, so we've got one body painted. We're gonna set that to dry. And we're gonna take one more smaller one and do the same thing. Okay. Make sure you get in all the crevices and the cracks so you don't got any brown still showing. And then once you've covered it all, you can set this one down to dry as well. Okay, so we've got all of our lots of white painting done. So we've got 2 smaller ones and the 2 bigger ones with the rims painted white. Okay, now we are going to move on to red. So you can take another bigger brush. You can take your red paint. Ooh, if I can get it open. There we go. Put that down. On your plate, you can use a plate, a paper plate, a napkin, paper towel, whatever you want. And you're gonna take one of your big pots, and you're going to paint it, the bottom part red. So whichever pot you take to paint the bottom part red, whichever big pot you take to paint the bottom part red, this is going to be your body pot. Whichever one you leave brown is going to be your face pot, your head pot, because we're gonna draw we're gonna paint a face on it. So this one will be your body pot. So just make sure you're covering it all nice. There's no brown showing. Don't worry if you get paint on your hands because it will wash off. Okay, just covering that up. The good thing about acrylic paint is that a little bit goes a long way. So you don't gotta use too much. Okay, we've got that part all covered up. We're gonna let that dry. As you guys can see, I've got some paint on my hands, so don't worry about it. And then you're gonna take your 2 smaller pots and you're gonna paint both of the rims red as well. Okay, so we've got that rim done. We're gonna sit that down to let that dry. And we're gonna take the other one that we've painted white and we're gonna paint the rim of this one red as well. So just going around the rim, making sure you get all the spots. Okay, perfect. Now we've got that one all covered up, so we're gonna let that one sit to dry as well. Okay, so we've got 2 of your smaller pots with a white body and a red rim. All right. We've got 1 big pot with a red body and a white rim. And now we're gonna take our other 2 smaller pots and we're gonna paint both of these fully red. Okay, so the rim and the body of the pot are both going to be red. So these pots will be easier because you don't have to worry about the colors mixing together. You just paint the whole thing red. As you can see, I'm putting my hand inside of the pot and just twisting it, and then that lets me not get as much paint on my hands. As you can see, I still have a lot of paint on my hands, but that's okay. Okay, so we've got 1 small pot fully red. So we're gonna move on to the other one. Set that down to let it dry. And we're gonna take the last pot we haven't painted yet. We're gonna paint this one fully red as well. And red and white are just the colors that I am using. If you guys want to use different colors, then you are free to do so. Use whichever colors you think will look the best for your person. Okay. Looks like we've got this one all painted up. And we've got this one done as well, so we're gonna let that dry. So right now we've got 2 small pots fully red. We have 2 small pots with a white body and a red rim. We've got 1 big pot with a red body and a white rim. And we've got 1 big pot with just a white rim. Okay? So the last painting we have to do is we have the face to do on our big pot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our black acrylic paint and a smaller paintbrush because you're going to be painting the details onto the face. So I'm gonna take an even smaller paintbrush. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of the black and I'll come up nice and close. So I'm gonna draw or paint a smiley face. Bit of a smiley face, a little bit of a nose. We're gonna draw some eyes. You know what? I'm gonna go on with my white first. And take a little bit of white. I'm gonna draw 2 circular dots. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my black acrylic paint. I'm going to add a little dot on the inside for the eyes. And then you can add whatever details you want. If you want to do some eyebrows, if you want to do some freckles, some eyelashes, I'm going to put some freckles on mine. Put some on the nose. And then maybe I'll do a couple eyelashes. Okay. And this is my face. So you can add whatever details you want. Hi everyone, so this is part 2 to the pot person project. Right now you should have all of your pots painted and dried, and the next step is going to be putting your person together. So what you're going to need for this part is you're going to need your scissors, popsicle sticks, and your twine or your craft rope. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna cut 2 pieces of rope. So the first one is gonna be pretty long, okay? It's gonna be a pretty long piece of twine because you can always trim it at the end if you need. All right, and the second piece is gonna be a little bit shorter. So if I hold it up to my hand, it goes a little bit longer than my arm, okay? Just like at the end, you can trim it if it's too long. So after you have your twine pieces, you're gonna wanna take one of your popsicle sticks, and depending on the size of your popsicle sticks, you're gonna wanna either cut it in half or into thirds. So mine are smaller, so I'm gonna cut mine in half. Just like that. And if you need a parent to help you, they're a little bit tough to cut sometimes. So I've got my half of my popsicle stick. So the first step is we're going to take the smaller piece of twine and we're going to make a little knot in the middle of it, but you're not gonna pull it all the way. Okay, so once we've got that knot, we're gonna take our popsicle stick, put it in there, and tie the knot around, okay? So we've got even sides. You're gonna do the same thing with the big piece of rope. Make a knot in the middle. Try to have even-ish sides. And then we're gonna stick that popsicle stick right in the middle and tie it on there. So now we've got our popsicle stick with both pieces of twine. All right, just like this. So after you tie that on there, you're gonna take your head pot, just like this, and you're going to take the 2 pieces of big twine and put them through the bottom hole just like this. Okay? After you've done that, you're gonna take the smaller 2 pieces of twine and you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna put them through that hole at the bottom there. Pull them all the way through. Okay, you're gonna make sure all the pieces are pulled all the way through, just like that. So now you're gonna have your popsicle stick holding in all these pieces, just like that, okay? All right, after you have that done, you're gonna take the longer 2 pieces of twine and you're going to take your body pot, put it upside down, and you're going to put them through that top hole, just like that. So you're gonna pull that all the way through so that your body and your head are connected, okay? Once you have that, you wanna make sure that the smaller 2 are coming out of the sides. So we've got it's like 2 arms right here and our 2 legs, because this is where our pots are going to attach, all right? So once we have that, we want to attach these 2 pots together. So we are going to take our big 2 pieces of rope and we're going to make a big knot, just like this, and we're going to try to push it all the way up to where that opening is so that the pots can't fall. Okay, and if you want to, you can make one more. Do it one more time. Make a big knot with both pieces and push it all the way up to the opening of the pot so they can't get through. So now the pot can't go any farther, okay? And we're gonna do one more just for good measure. So we're gonna take that knot, push it all the way up around that first knot so that we've got a nice big knot in there, keeping the bodies together, just like this. Okay. So the next step is we're going to be attaching the arms and the legs. So just like that knot I did with the big 2, we're going to do those to attach the arms and the legs. So we're gonna do the arms first. We're gonna take our pots that we painted white on the top and red on the bottom, on the rim. We're gonna take one of these, one of our smaller twines, and we're going to put it through the bottom of the smaller pot. Just like this. If you need to put all the pieces together so that they'll go through, that's okay. And you just wanna pull that through. So now we've got our arm on here, and we're gonna take this and we're gonna do the same thing we did at the bottom. We're gonna make one knot, push it all the way to the back as far as you can, and then we're going to do the same thing. Make another knot, push it back, try to get it around that other knot. So we've got one big knot holding your arm on. So it'll look like this, okay? And you can trim off the excess if you want to, but not too far so that the knot stays intact. So where this is popping out right here, I'm just gonna take it, snip it off. Okay? We're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, just to show you. So we're gonna take our other pot that's white and red. We're gonna take the one end of the string, stick it through the bottom portion. All right, and then we're going to make one knot. Try to twist this. one knot, push it all the way back, and 2. And there we go. Now we've got our pot person's both arms connected. So what we did on the top, we're gonna do the exact same thing on the bottom. So we're gonna take our bottom 2 strings, feed it through the bottom part of our fully red painted pots. Just like that. And you get to choose how long you want the legs to be. So it all depends on how long you want them to be. So I'm going to make mine like medium length. So I'm gonna tie 1 big knot, push it back, and I'm gonna do it one more time. 1 big knot, push it back. Okay, so we've got our 1 leg attached, and I'm gonna cut off the extra twine, just like that. Okay, now you're gonna take your other pot and do the exact same thing. My pot has a big hole on the bottom, so I am going to tie it with a popsicle stick to make sure, but your pots will all be the same size on the bottom, so you can just tie knots on it. You don't have to worry about doing this. Okay, so I'm gonna tie it once and I'm gonna tie it twice just to make sure. Okay, and after you tie that, you can cut off the excess string again. I'm gonna have one longer leg than the other just because of the size of my pots, but yours will all be the same size. Okay, and after we have everything attached, you've got your pot person. So you can set them down, have the legs bending, put a little plant up here, however you want to use it.